Hi everyone, welcome back to the Caistrology channel, and if you're new here, welcome. My name is Cailin, and today we're going to be looking at your October 2025 horoscope. You can watch your horoscope for your ascendant, sun, and moon sign. I do recommend that you watch all three if you've got the time, and this is a tropical Western astrology reading, just by the way. If you're wanting more regular astrological updates from me, then you can follow me on Instagram and or Facebook. It's the same handle, which is simply Caistrology. So a little bit of an update for you. I am going to be traveling for the whole month of October. So that means I'm not going to be available for private one-to-one astrological consultations. And just by the way, I'm a tarot reader as well. So I do offer tarot card readings. I'll be back in November if you're wanting to book in a private reading. So without further ado, let's get into your October horoscope. Hi Aries Sun, Moon and Risings, welcome to your October 2025 horoscope. I'm so looking forward to this month because we've got a grand water trine forming in the last few days of the month. So there's going to be something in your life that starts feeling more effortless, more flowy, more easeful, and there's going to be a real shift for you in terms of things that have felt emotionally laborious and taxing. Nevertheless, Aries, let's start from the beginning. So on the 7th of October, we've got a couple of things happening here. Mercury is going to be entering the sign of Scorpio, which means it will be joining Mars in your 8th house. Also on the 7th of October, and probably a bit more exciting for you, is the full moon in Aries in your 1st house. So let's have a quick look at Mercury first. Basically, Mercury transits are relatively quick, usually, but whatever is occurring in the month of October will surely be dragged out into the month of November, and that's because next month we'll have a Mercury retrograde. So just pay attention to whatever is coming up for you in October with respect to 8th house topics, right? So Mercury and Mars in the 8th house indicates that there's this real focus for you on deep research. Now, that can be across a range of different topics. Of course, it's going to depend on your own personal birth chart and proclivities and interests. In saying that, the 8th house is related to conspiracy theories, the occult, psychology, astrology, and anything that is basically taboo in nature, and that includes sex as well. So you may have an interest in one or more of these aforementioned topics, and that could be something that you work towards in terms of this deeper research that you're doing, and it can actually guide you or help you to feel like you're coming unstuck or coming unblocked in one way or another. The 8th house is also very much associated with mutual resources. So this is to do with the shared bank accounts that you may have, shared investments, joint assets, and so on and so forth. On the 7th of October, we've got this full moon occurring at 14 degrees in Aries in your 1st house. So basically, we have full moons in our 1st house once a year, sometimes twice a year, but that's pretty rare. And this particular full moon is occurring at 14 degrees, and it's actually going to be conjunct an auspicious fixed star in astrology known as Alpheratz. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. It has the nature of Jupiter and Venus, and it is very much associated with freedom, romance, love, as well as independence and riches and glory. Obviously, we've got a few loaded topics there, but ultimately the full moon in your 1st house, to me, is indicative of you achieving some kind of goal. Now, it can be the achievement of a certain financial status, material state, or possession. So that could be procuring a resource that is important to you. And for others of you, this could be the separation of your resources from another person's resources, especially as it is activating that 1st house, 7th house axes, and we've got Mars in Scorpio at the time of the full moon. Now, this could indicate that you are achieving a personal goal. Maybe you feel like you are finally liberated from something that has felt like a real battle for you to overcome and really, I suppose, come out on top. So this particular full moon feels like it's very emotionally charged, and that it is a marker point, or we could say an inflection point for you. And I think you're really going to feel like once you get to this full moon that there's like the old me and the new me that's on the other side of this full moon. So that energy can be felt 1 to 2 weeks before the full moon on the 7th of October. So literally as you're entering the month, and even 1 to 2 weeks after. So up until, mid to late October. On the 13th or the 14th of October, depending where you live in the world, Venus is going to enter the sign of Libra. And that means that Venus is going to be transiting your 7th house. So basically, Venus is naturally at home in the sign of Libra. It loves to be in the sign of Libra. And when Venus transits our 7th house, this can basically portend good things for our one-to-one personal relationships. So this can indicate that you will be experiencing harmony, diplomacy, and balance in your personal relationships. So this can be your business partnerships, collaborations, or even your romantic relationship. And it's also a positive time for romance, especially if you are single. So that will be from the 13th of October through till, I didn't actually have that date written down, silly me, through till the 6th of November. Okay, so we've got a good 3 weeks of Venus transiting your 3rd house. During this time, you may be engaging the services of a professional. Okay, so we're really looking at one-to-one client relationships here. So that could be financial advice that you are seeking, legal advice. You could be engaging the services of a business coach, or maybe even beauty services as well. It is Libra, it is Venus after all. And this could be a time where you are signing on more clients, doing more deals, achieving more sales. So it is very positive for anyone who's in business, and particularly anyone who is in sales. Now, Venus is also going to be opposing Neptune and trining Uranus and Pluto, and this is all happening within 24 to 48 hours of Venus entering Libra. Not to mention that on the 14th of October, Pluto will be stationing direct in Aquarius in your 11th house at 1 degrees. So you could feel like around mid-month, right? So we're really looking at, let's say, the 13th till the 16th of October, that you're having a breakthrough. This can be with friends, this can be with finances and resources or investors, or in some respect, the people that you collaborate with. Now, on the 20th of October, Mercury and Mars are going to form a conjunction at 19 degrees Scorpio in your 8th house. And basically, for the whole rest of the month, we're going to see this grand trine forming between Jupiter in Cancer in your 4th house, Saturn in Pisces in your 12th house, and Mercury and Mars in your 8th house. Although in the last couple of days of the month, Mercury will enter the sign of Sagittarius. In any case, having this grand trine activated between 4 planets in water signs indicates that there's some kind of flow, ease, movement, and positive shift as it relates to your mutual resources with other people, your family, your property and living situation, and basically home dynamics. And there's this like surrendering that's happening where you're saying goodbye to an old chapter. Some kind of difficulty or hardship is leaving your life. More to the point, with the Mercury-Mars conjunction in your 8th house, because this is occurring at 19 degrees, which is the Libra degree, this also indicates to me that you're forming some kind of, I want to say, alliance, right? And this is to do with your mutual resources. So I think that you are going to strike an agreement with another person that is going to positively benefit you. And to me, this is looking like benefiting you in a financial sense, in a material sense, but this could also very much have an impact on your family situation, your living situation, property, real estate. And it doesn't have to be real estate in terms of where you're living. This can also be commercial real estate as well. And with Saturn in your 12th house, which, by the way, Saturn loves to be in the 12th house. It rejoices in the 12th house. There's like something solid that you are building. But this conjunction between Mercury and Mars will happen 5 times between basically October and March. So it looks like you're working towards something special, which will be ready to execute on in March 2026. On the 21st of October, there will be a new moon in Libra, and this will be taking place in your 7th house at 28 degrees. So a new moon, well, new moons in general are all about planting the seeds for a new chapter or something that we're wanting to manifest or bring into fruition. So the 7th house rules over our one-to-one relationships. It rules over our marriage to contracts, sales, clients, and so on and so forth. So the new moon on the 21st in your 7th house indicates that there could be a new collaboration that is taking place, going into business with another person. Maybe you are taking your existing relationship with someone to another level, maybe to a romantic level. This could indicate that you are maybe signing contracts for property. All right, so maybe property, real estate is involved here, especially because 28 degrees is the Cancer degree. I do want to say that this new moon squares Jupiter and Cancer in your 4th house, and it also makes an opposition to Chiron in Aries in your 1st house. So I do think that there's some kind of compromise that you may need to make with this relationship. So it could be that you're feeling like you're maybe overspending, or things aren't maybe going to plan in terms of the time frame. It doesn't mean that this is unlucky or that there's something inherently unfortunate about this new moon. I don't see that at all, especially because Venus is in Libra at the time of the new moon at 9 degrees. And so this is very auspicious for this new moon. Okay, but this 24-degree action between Jupiter and Chiron indicates that there's a surrendering and a letting go that is taking place. So it's maybe like you're just having to surrender to divine timing, right? I don't know when this is going to eventuate. I don't know when this is going to take place. I'm overspending. I'm not getting exactly what I want, but this is an amazing opportunity and I want to capitalize on it. That's the energy of the new moon. On the 22nd of September, Neptune is going to re-enter the sign of Pisces. Now, this will be for the next 3 months. This is giving you a reprieve, Aries, because Neptune has been in Aries in your 1st house literally since the end of March this year. So to me, this is affording you an opportunity to shed the old story, to overcome self-sabotage, to win against some kind of habit or addiction or vice that you have maybe been battling. And Neptune will be at 29 degrees, the critical anaretic degree for these next 3 months. Okay, so what is recommended here are things that maybe Aries people are not really going to be about, and that's meditation, yoga, solitude, being introspective, going inwards, spending time alone. Of course, I don't want to pigeonhole Aries. I know a bunch of Aries people who do enjoy these things, but you're, I think, really going to have to lean into that to basically close out this last 14 years. That is how long Neptune has been transiting the sign of Pisces. So it's like one last test, and then come February, we're all collectively out the other side of that. Okay, so lastly for the month, on the 23rd of October, Scorpio season is going to begin. And then on the 29th of October, Mercury is going to enter the sign of Sagittarius. So really between the 23rd of October and the 29th of October, this is when I think you're going to see the most good fortune taking place for you, because that, I always fall off my desk. That is when we're going to have this grand trine forming. So basically between the 29th and like the 28th of October, we've got Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. We've got Jupiter in Cancer. We've got Mars, Mercury, and the Sun all in Scorpio. That's so much water. I think that that's like 6 planets in water. So there's a divine surrendering, there's a divine letting go, and there's certainly a blessing that is being bestowed upon your emotional world, your family situation, and your property and your living situation. Thank you so much, Aries, for watching this horoscope. If you enjoyed this reading, please give the video a thumbs up. If you want to see more content on the channel, hit the subscribe button. And also don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Facebook, where I post regular updates about what's happening astrologically. Take care, and I'll see you guys next month.